My name is Kala, Arvind Kala. Generation after generation, decade after decade, year after year, the characters change, but the story remains the same. I'm referring to the family of Amitabh Bachchan. You see what's happened? His Amitabh Bachchan's son, Abhishek Bachchan and Aishwarya are splitting up. That's an old story, and they're leaving the place or whatever, and they live in separate homes, etc., etc. But my point is another. Now, Abhishek Bachchan and Aishwarya got married 17 years ago. My question is, why the hell did you go into your father's home? And to the father and the wife, Jaya Bachchan, why the hell do you want to have a married son, grown up daughter in law living with you for 17 years? Now, Amitabh Bachchan has a towering personality. He earns 5 crores per episode on Kaun Banega Crorepati, which means 20 crores a month, 40 crores in 2 months. And every time he appears in an ad, he gets 8 crores, 10 crores. And a chap who's is terribly busy, he's a machine, he's a money machine. The guy could be a dollar billionaire, which amounts to 8,000 crores. It doesn't matter whether maybe he has just 5,000 crores and multiple properties, all of them command a premium because of the fact that the next buyer would buy it just because he's buying an Amitabh Bachchan property. So why the hell did this very sober, very sensible guy who doesn't drink, who doesn't smoke, why did he have a joint family? Because Indians are over attached to their children, he or his wife. The same thing Indira Gandhi did, the redoubtable Indira Gandhi. She also, Sanjay Gandhi and Menka Gandhi lived in the same house, and probably Menka Gandhi felt stifled, under a banyan tree, nothing grows. And she just didn't like it. There was a scrap, there must have been a scrap between Menka Gandhi and Indira Gandhi, because one night, Menka Gandhi ran out of the house, in bare feet, as the barefoot, as the story goes. So generation after generation, they do the same thing. There is such a thing as over loving your children, and that is the tragedy with Indian parents. Now, I've seen this over 3 generations already. Now, let me tell you why it happens. Parents love their children too much, Indian parents, and the sons particularly. So when the son becomes of marriageable age, 24, 25, 28, or whatever, and he's about to get married, then the parents, their hearts are torn that our darling son will go away. So they tell him or persuade him or cajole him into staying with them. And what the hell? The son doesn't like it. Maybe he does, but the daughter-in-law doesn't, because the normal new bride, a plump Punjabi girl who's 24, 25, in her own home, after her husband goes out, she would like to wear a negligee and all that, and play a Hindi song, fast Hindi song, and wiggle her butt before a full-length mirror. But here in a joint family, she can't do that because she won't have the enthusiasm. Because outside her door, there'll be an old mother-in-law and an old father-in-law prowling around, waiting to pounce on her and dazzle her with their brilliance. And the women and the mothers-in-law, particularly in these middle-class homes, they imagine that the new daughter-in-law and the mother-in-law, they'll become friends, very good friends, and they'll giggle together. How nice! They'll go shopping and this and that. And meanwhile, there's the young bride. She thinks in her room, yeah, how the hell do I get rid of this old woman? She's always bloody hanging around, etc. So the whole relationship becomes very poisonous. And I don't know why people don't learn. You see, people in India, they are fools. Everybody learns from his own experience, sure. But the intelligent fellow one learns from other people's experiences, of what he sees around, sees and absorbs. I mean, if you see hundreds, scores of joint families breaking up, then we should know that's a slippery terrain, and don't get into that. Don't get into that. Now, I've seen this over 3 generations: my grandfather's generation, my father's generation, and my own generation. Wherever there has been joint families, they've broken up in huge bitterness, court feelings, and in extreme cases, even murder. even murder. This is, and I remember, I know, I had a friend whose two sons lived with them, and they got married, and they stayed on in his property. And I, as a friend, wanted to tell him, hey, you're getting into a morass. You're going into a quagmire where your foot will get in and you'll get sucked in. Sure enough, one of his daughters-in-law left after, bolted from the house 11 years later, and filed cases against the in-laws and the husband. She's filed 4 criminal cases against the husband and got a court order that the husband is not to see their 2 children. I mean, this is what it leads to. Yet they do the same thing. You don't learn from anything. And the trouble with fools, and India is full of fools, that the fools don't know they're fools. So that's the trouble. Is the intelligent guy who doubts his own intelligence. Now, another friend I have, he cremated his wife. He became a widower. He's 77. And what he did was, and from the cremation ground, he flew off to Dubai to sit on his son's lap. And I thought to myself, hey, you moron, how do you presume that your dear son will want you as a permanent house guest for years? And even if your dear son wants you, maybe the daughter-in-law doesn't. How do you presume these things? You're being too presumptuous. And tomorrow, you're 77, if tomorrow you get a stroke and you become a blubbering idiot, doing how the hell will he take care of you? Will he be that enthusiastic knowing that you're 77 and your health is only going to decline, and he'll be left with a semi-carcass? I didn't tell him that because you're not supposed to. That way you get enemies. So I didn't tell him that. So, but it continues. That's the trouble with Indian parents. They overlove their children. Also, because I'll tell you, from what I've seen of Indian parents, long married couples, they're sick of each other. They've heard the same thing. The chap is boring, the wife is boring. Actually, both of them are boring, and all of them, they seek some distraction. So if there's a son around, etc., there's at least that old couple will at least have some diversion. But damn it, that's not the job of a grown-up son or a new daughter-in-law to entertain you. If you're bored, bloody get friends, and so they don't have a social life also. Most of these old people I've seen, they don't have any social life. They've never made school friends, college friends, colleagues, office colleagues, this, that. They've not cultivated, and suddenly they grow old and they find that they're all alone. I find the same kind of loneliness in Delhi as elsewhere in European cities is not talked about so much. So the point is, I mean, the long and short of this joint family is, the closer you live together, the more the distances will become. And the further apart you are, the closer your relationship will be. It's a simple truth. Me and my wife, we are parents to a daughter. Now, if she needed to stay out of financial necessity or some breakdown or something, we'd welcome her home. But if she wanted to live with us out of choice, meaning, daddy, I can't live without you, I'd say, no, go away, use your own money and live at least 6 kilometers away. It's better, keep people away, keep your distances. Keep your distance. Mercifully, she thinks the same way, so there's no danger of that. But by the way, the misery of these old people, people my age, etc., is very entertaining. You should go to the park, in a morning and walk around. If you want to see the misery, wear dark glasses like me, and you'll find every one of those men, etc., above 65 or something, my area, GK2, Greater Kailash to Delhi, is full of business families, miserable business. And you'll see the misery on the faces of these men who walk around. And it's very entertaining, but you got to wear dark glasses, and otherwise they'll know that you're looking at them and laughing, and, they may get a little offended. So no harm in engaging in this camouflage, So, well, friends, No joint families, man. No joint families ever, ever, ever. So I pronounce such words of wisdom. Yeah, for Jesus Christ, for heaven's sake, subscribe to my channel, and it's time for me to say farewell. So see you later, alligator.